Get the first item from an iterable that matches a condition. I would like to get the first item from a list matching a condition. It's important that the resulting method not process the entire list, which could be quite large. For example, the following function is adequate. This function could be used something like this. However, I can't think of a good built-in /one-liner to let me do this. I don't particularly want to copy this function around if I don't have to. Is there a built-in way to get the first item matching a condition?
Python 2.6 Plus and Python 3. If you want stop iteration to be raised if no matching element is found. If you want default underscore value, e.g. none, to be returned instead. Note that you need an extra pair of parentheses around the generator expression. In this case, minus they are needed whenever the generator expression isn't the only argument. I see most answers resolutely ignore the next built-in, and so I assume that for some mysterious reason they're 100% focused on versions 2.5 and older without mentioning the Python version issue, but then I don't see that mention in the answers that do mention the next built-in, which is why I thought it necessary to provide an answer myself, at least the correct version. Issue gets on record this way, winky face. Python is lower than or equal to 2.5. The .next method of iterators immediately raises stop iteration if the iterator immediately finishes, i.e., for your use case, if no item in the iterable satisfies the condition. If you don't care, i.e., you know there must be at least one satisfactory item, then just use .next based on a genexp line for the next built-in in Python 2.6 and better. If you do care, wrapping things in a function as you had first indicated in your queue seems best, and while the function implementation you proposed is just fine, you could alternatively use itertools, a for ... column break loop, or a genexp, or a try/except stop iteration as the function's body, as various answers suggested. There's not much added value in any of these alternatives, so I'd go for the starkly simple version you first proposed.
Damn exceptions. I love Alex Martelli's answer. However, since next, raise a stop iteration exception when there are no items. I would use the following snippet to avoid an exception. For example, we'll raise a stop iteration exception.
As a reusable, documented and tested function. Version with default argument. Adzorf suggested a version of this function where you can have a predefined return value if the iterable is empty or has no items matching the condition. The most efficient way in Python 3 are one of the following using a similar example. With a comprehension style. Warning, the expression works also with Python 2, but in the example is used range that returns an iterable object in Python 3 instead of a list like Python 2. If you want to construct an iterable in Python 2, use range instead. Note that the expression avoid to construct a list in the comprehension expression next, I for ... That would cause to create a list with all the elements before filter the elements, and would cause to process the entire options, instead of stop the iteration once I == 1000. With a functional style. Warning, this doesn't work in Python 2, even replacing range with range do that filter create a list instead of a iterator inefficient, and the next function only works with iterators. Default value. As mentioned in other responses, you must add an extra parameter to the function next if you want to avoid an exception raised when the condition is not fulfilled. Functional style. Comprehension style. With this style you need to surround the comprehension expression with, to avoid a syntax error column generator expression must be parenthesized if not sole argument.
If you watch this birthday channel, please consider liking and subscribing.